Okay, Isla, thanks a million for speaking to us, first of all.
Thank you.
And this is your first movie where proper headline a movie, and it's a Jerry Bruckheimer movie as well. Was there nerves in approaching the movie, or?
Luckily I didn't have that much time to think about it. But yeah, I was scared because I knew as the lead of the movie I'd have to be more responsible for the tone, and then also the character is such a beloved character from the best-selling series Confessions of a Shopaholic. So I didn't want to have any of the readers come after me in the middle of the night, if you know what I mean.
With the stilettos.
Yeah, just for ruining the character.
But did it help having an Aussie on set and PJ Hogan, a fellow Aussie, directing?
Yeah, it did help, but I had to tell him, PJ, you can't, he obviously has an Australian accent, and right before a take, he would come up to me and go, all right, Isla, what I want you to do is, I said to him, I have to do an American accent. The moment he would walk away, so I begged him, I said, please do an American accent, because then it will help me with my dialect. And then he did his American accent, which sounded like if Clint Eastwood and Holly Hunter was to have a love child, that would be the voice.
That's an image. That's definitely an image. You've done a lot of scenes before this movie, like the likes of Wedding Crashers and Hot Rods and stuff. You've done a lot of scenes. But what was it about Wedding Crashers in particular do you think that just clicked? Because that did seem to be the movie where people were like, oh God, she's a really good comedian.
I don't know. Wedding Crashers was sort of a surprise hit, I think, and I think you know what? Back then, at that stage, there weren't that many, roles for funny women, at least around when I was auditioning for that. Since then, we've had, Anna Faris in House Bunny, and Baby Mama with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, and, Bride Wars with Kate I feel like there's been a whole slew of where women have got to do, more funny roles. And there'd been a period, I think, where there hadn't been that opportunity. So maybe that's why the character stood out. I don't know.
And do you think is it easier to improv? Because he was saying you could improv a little bit in this movie for such a big production. So was it like training kind of opposite Vince Vaughn and Wedding Crashers to improv?
Yeah, Vince I learned so much from Vince. He's quick as a whip and just always on. He's the same person when they yell cut as he is when they yell action. And that was interesting to me. And he would give as much energy to, anyone as he would to the camera. And, he was very smart, funny man.
And how aware of the material were you before you signed on?
I was very aware. Yeah, read the book in London, was a huge fan of Sophie Kinsella, and never saw myself in the role, of course, because she's English. And then, got lucky and got a meeting and was fortunate enough to get the gig.
And you've recently had a child, so does that... does that affect your choices somewhat, or because you've done a couple of animated movies as well?
I haven't worked since this movie, so you could say it affects my choices. You know what? I'm really fortunate in that I don't, have to go to work right now, so I'm not.
And finally, you've written a script as well. You've written a script called Groupies.
Yes.
And is that early in development, or is that going to happen?
No, we sold that to Paramount a couple of years ago. Amy Poehler and I wrote it together. It's about two, deluded, dumb girls who believe this band are in love with them when actually the band has a restraining order out on them. It's not based on any personal experience. So we set it up at Paramount. We got we got all the ingredients together. It's just one of those things where I then got pregnant, and then she then got pregnant, and now she's doing the pilot for an American spin-off of The Office. And so I'm kind of waiting for her to wrap that up, and then we should get going.
Okay. Well, it was lovely to meet you, Isla. Thanks a million for speaking to us.
Thank you.